Welcome to the Pickleball Legends podcast, hosted by me, Evan Small. This is the place where passion for the game meets the stories of the players, coaches, and fans who make pickleball more than just a sport. They make it a story worth telling. Today's guest is Will Parton, the founder of Hitch, a growing app designed to help pickleball, padel, and tennis players actually find the right people to play with. What's interesting about Will's story is this didn't come from some huge startup or massive company. Hitch was built from a real problem he experienced himself after moving countries and having to rebuild his entire playing network from scratch. So without saying too much more, let's dive into this episode of the Pickleball Legends podcast. So, first of all, how did you first get into pickleball?
Hey, Evan. So I'm a lifetime tennis player. I've always played racket sports. In the last 2 years or so, I picked up pickleball and padel. So I'm a convert from tennis, and I was a little hesitant at first, but I got addicted like everyone else does, and now I'm starting to get into padel, which I know is big in Europe, and it's just starting in the North America. I'm in Canada, but the US as well. And it's kind of the year of padel in North America. It's just exploding, and it adds a whole new dynamic and dimension to racket sports. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, it's been very similar in the UK with the explosion of paddle and pickleball simultaneously. So obviously pickleball's come over from America for us, and Europe's bringing paddle over, and we're kind of in the middle of it all
Right.
coming over. So you've got both pickleball and paddle then. Which one do you find yourself spending more time playing?
Pickleball, for sure.
Pickleball?
Um, and unfortunately, I don't play much tennis anymore. I
Yeah.
still, if somebody wanted to, I would. But
But
it's like my
pickleball or
schedule,
paddle?
my schedule doesn't allow tennis much anymore. Pickleball is just the right length. And it keeps you in shape, but it's not too demanding on the body. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that conversion happened. Who introduced you to it then? Where did that come from?
Actually, my mother, my
Yeah.
'82-year-old mother, was like, "You got to do this." And I did resist it in the beginning. Again, as a tennis player, you often think, "Oh, that's not a real sport." But once I tried it, I got addicted. And actually, now I prefer the format of pickleball to tennis.
Yeah.
I don't know if that just because I'm getting older. It's less hard on the body. It's so social, and just kind of fell in love with it. But so part of it was my mother. The other part was moving to Canada. I'm from the US. And a year and a half ago, we moved to Canada with my wife, who's Canadian. And I had to start over
Yeah.
professionally, personally. And so I leaned on pickleball to build that community and sense of belonging in Canada.
Mm.
And as I was doing that, I was trying to find an app that would help me build my crew. And I just didn't find anything focused on the player finding experience itself. And since I have a background in developing apps for companies like ESPN and Wells Fargo, it's like, yeah, I can do that. So that's the genesis of Hitch is
Yeah.
a personal need for it.
It was very similar to our story actually, where we moved across the country and our family just wanted to get into the community. And so that's why we started playing pickleball. We found the club in the local town. So it sounds like very similar on the same
Hmm.
page. So that first inspiration for Hitch, was that just you thinking about it, or was there anybody else involved in those initial ideas?
It was mainly me. I I mean, it's a lifetime sport for me, so I have friends throughout the years that I've made through tennis.
Mm.
And again, some of them are happy with this transition, some of them are disappointed that I don't play tennis much
Yeah.
anymore. Um, but Hitch is about all racket sports, so it's not just pickleball or paddle or tennis. It's kind of a place where all of that merges into one. I see it as different flavors of the same thing, honestly.
Yeah. So what is the core concept of Hitch? Obviously, you've said about player finding, but what does it actually do?
Yeah, so that's it. Um, if you look around at all the different apps, they tend to be more focused on the court, and everything revolves around the court, right? We've taken a different approach where we're primarily focused on the player, and everything revolves around the player. So you obviously need to have courts to play, but we're really about helping you find the right people quickly and easily through Hitch. And we have two features that highlight that ability. It's called Best Fit and Top Player. Best Fit connects you with with players who have complementary skills. So if you're more of an aggressive player, we connect you with a conservative player, and we know through history that the odds are better that you'll work well together and win more matches, hopefully. We also have Top Player, which this is not brand new methodology, but it is new to racket sports, where you can actually rate somebody. Right now, it's just a thumbs up. If there's a player who was skilled and they were reliable, you can give them a thumbs up in Hitch, which adds a little badge to their player card. And our algorithm then knows to prioritize those players, and they show up higher in your list.
Right. So similar to like rating an Uber driver kind of thing.
Yes, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to bring that to pickleball.
Well, that sounds great. So is that not only finding players to play on a court, it's also finding people to play within a competition, yeah?
It's both. It's
Yeah.
such a social sport. So initially it was just to build your crew and play with people that are around the same level nearby, but also that you like personally, right? Because it is so social.
Yeah.
But the Best Fit is more of like a skill pairing than a personality pairing for optimal doubles performance.
Mm. That's great because obviously it's a big struggle at the moment if you're trying to play at a better level or go into competitions, because you do have the people to play around socially, but not necessarily the ones who are right to play with you in a competition, if that makes sense. I know certainly for me in my age brackets, there's hardly any females to play mixed doubles with in our area. So
It's so experimental today. You
yeah,
we have drop-ins and open play, and you just kind of experiment, right, until you
yeah.
find the right person. But it can take a while. It can be expensive. So hopefully Hitch helps expedite that process so you can find those compatible players more quickly.
So when did this all come about? When was the first idea of Hitch?
Yeah, again, it was when I moved to Canada just a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago, and you've already is it live? Is it people able to use it now?
Oh yeah, and we're in
Yeah.
the UK. Uh, Primarily, we're Canada and the US, but we're also in the London area and the Sydney area in Australia. So there's been some real traction in London,
Yeah.
which is exciting. As I was advertising, I noticed London caught on quickly. And I think you're still in the explosive growth phase of pickleball.
Yeah.
US is becoming saturated, but Canada is the same way. It's still rapidly growing here. They don't have the infrastructure yet for pickleball, but that's changing every day. There's new clubs popping up for pickleball. We have our
Mm.
first paddle club in Ottawa. So yeah, it's happening.
It's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
And so that growth worldwide, obviously you're not just trying to do it in specific countries. What's the main goal? Is it to go completely global and have it in every country? Any player who's wanting to go into a competition, they can just find a player through Hitch.
Right. And you can go onto Hitch and search for people in other cities. So you can try
All
and
right.
connect before you go, if you
That
will.
sounds good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Nomad. It's another like tab in Hitch. Yeah, right now we're focused on those English speaking countries, and but the growth now seems to be in China, Malaysia, and Vietnam, even
Mm.
India too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's massive growth in those Asian countries. It's really taken off there. That's what we're
Hmm.
noticing as well
Right.
with all of our stuff.
Hmm.
So, are there any other developments that you're having aside from Hitch for growing sport?
Our mission again is to connect people, and we know if people are connected, especially with the right people, they will play more often
Mm.
and build those communities that we've lost in society. The U.S. is in kind of a weird place, and I think that's partially because of the loss of community in this digital age. And that's another part of pickleball's rapid growth is it helps us connect in person, right? So Hitch is digital, but it facilitates in-person connection. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's something that's really important, isn't it? That in-person, connection, especially as we move into this AI era where lots of people are losing their jobs and stuff like that, right?
exactly. I know it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it that you do for a profession? What do you do by trade?
So I've been designing websites and apps for 15 plus years for small and big companies. For ESPN is an example of one in sports. I've been in finance the last 10 years, working for companies like TransUnion and Wells Fargo. So not new to developing software, but I am new to developing software for this the racket world.
Mm. And when you first came into pickleball and paddle, did you think I'm going to build an app for that, or was it just to solve that problem of?
Yeah, it was to solve a problem I saw on the market, and I had the
Mm,
skills to do it.
yeah.
Right. So it felt like a perfect combination of my personal interest, an opening in the market um, within a rapidly growing industry. And I was more focused on pickleball, partially because that's where the growth was in North
Mm.
America. And that actually helped push me into the sport personally as well.
So tell me, how has this process been over the last year and a half? How's this growth come about? Have you had any challenges with building the app or anything that you've
Yeah.
struggled with?
A lot of challenges. It's a hard thing, especially sort of a new space because the player finding niche is new.
Mm,
So a lot of companies, when I'm looking to partner, don't initially understand the value, or they think that they already have it when they don't.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, starting a business is crazy. It's my first. I've dabbled in entrepreneurship, but I've never gone, all in. So this is my first time really committing my own finances and my time to it. And it has been more challenging than I thought,
yeah.
especially to make money initially. In pickleball, people are always looking for ways to save money. So it's hard to monetize it. And you want to grow, but then you need to find a way to make money, obviously, or you can't continue to grow.
Yeah.
So partnerships, and I'm just starting to break through with some partnerships with some exciting companies like Quartz app. I don't know if you've heard of them. Potentially, do you use Court Reserve in the UK?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
There might be clubs that use it, but I didn't know of it.
Okay. That's a big one here. And how do we integrate player finding into some of those more mainstream applications as well?
Mm. And how's that process going? Are you managing to get those sorted and get into those more pre-existing databases kind of things?
It's been hard just starting to have some breakthroughs there as we become established because initially you're just one of many startups in a space where AI is kind of allowing everybody to start a
Yeah.
company. So I can see why it's a little hard to know who's real and who's not.
Yeah. Well, obviously the concept of Hitch relies on having players there, right? It's
Yeah,
more useful the more players you have on
you got it.
board. So how did you manage to get your initial first players onto the app and using it?
It's hard. It's that chicken and egg question. Um, like, how do you grow when you don't have
Yeah.
players? So, yeah, a lot of it was done through Facebook advertising, word of mouth. And that's where I discovered some of these markets too. That's why I didn't focus on London initially, but when I saw a spark happen there, I then put more money
Mm,
into advertising in London and some of those emerging markets. It's tough, and most of it's been done through sort of digital marketing, which is a challenge because we don't have big budgets either. So we have
mm.
to find ways to expand the network that isn't in a costly way like advertising. It's a very expensive way to bring in new customers.
Mm. Yeah, obviously you want to be getting people on board via that word of mouth, as you were saying. That's one of the crucial things to hit is
when people realize that you're solving a problem for them, they'll then automatically do your marketing for you for free, right?
Yep. And we're kind of at a point where folks are like, "Oh, it's cool," but there's not enough players. So
Mm,
again, the chicken and the egg thing, like the ideas there, the applications there, and there in certain regions there's a good amount of players, but we haven't hit like critical mass where there's
mm.
a lot of players everywhere and they're deeply engaged. So it's kind of like people see the potential, but they're often not willing to fully engage with it until that network effect is there.
Yeah, it's definitely very difficult to grow and gain traction, but hopefully, I mean, the concept is definitely there. You know, it sounds like a great thing that's certainly missing from the sport. I remember thinking about this ages ago, and we were tempted to do something similar, but we went down a different route
Yeah.
instead. But yeah, it's very very good that somebody's actually doing it, right?
Yeah, and I can see why I know people have dabbled in it, but they tend to fizzle out because it's hard to make money.
Mm,
But we're committed to it. We see the opportunity, and we're hoping in the long run it'll turn into a profitable business.
yeah,
And it's
well,
great because I have a goal of 1 million hitches,
yeah,
and my real passion is connecting people and knowing that this app is helping people play more. And that's why I keep doing it. If you don't love it, you would give up. I would have given up, you know, a year ago, right?
yeah.
But I'm following my passion, and fingers crossed that we'll find a way to monetize.
Yeah, hopefully it does sound good, and I really really wish you the best with all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So, in terms of the growth in Canada, because I've not had a proper conversation with somebody from Canada in the pickleball scene, how is the sport growing over there?
Yes, rapid growth here. I'm in Ottawa, so I see the Toronto area, and that's an explosive area for us. Toronto, I think that's our highest density of players is in
Mm,
Toronto, Canada. Ottawa is there too, not quite as explosive. So it's growing here. Like people are familiar with it, but it's not generally known as this hot new thing. If you go to the US, almost anybody you talk to, they're oh that pickleball thing. Everyone's talking about pickleball, right? Here it's like oh I've heard of that, but I don't know much about it. So it's still catching on, I'd say.
it seems to be in a very similar state to the UK at the moment with this, sudden growth. And there's if you're not in it, then you've
Right,
kind of heard of it, and until you've played it, that's when everyone gets addicted to it, right? The second they
right,
play it, they're
exactly.
taken by it.
And anybody can play it. I mean, another reason why I got into it was I said my 82-year-old mother. Well, my 7-year-old son, myself, and my 82-year-old mother can play together and have a blast.
Mm,
And how many sports can you say that is true for,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Three people, three different generations, all playing on the same court, right?
And
It's
actually having fun with it. Like, because
mm,
even with tennis, when I would play with my mother, it would be just so slow for me that I mean, I would do it because I love her, but
yeah,
it wasn't fun. But pickleball, you can really have fun no matter what the level is. It's
exactly.
yeah.
It's definitely something phenomenal, and that community aspect. I was a discussion I've had before on the podcast about how what's pickleball's niche, right? Every sport has its own niche, and it seems to be that pickleball's niche is this community and fun
Hmm.
aspect,
Hmm.
right? Because as you say, three different generations on a court, it's something phenomenal.
Right. Because even paddle is a higher skill.
Mm,
So I think a lot of tennis players are going to paddle because they
yeah,
still get that high level of competition. And don't get me wrong, it exists in pickleball too. Like especially at the pro level, it's getting crazy, right? Um, but it's so that's a little bit of a difference with paddle, and of course the infrastructure is a little trickier with paddle because it's a little more expensive to build the glass, court. Although I think it's becoming very commercialized, where it's being easier and easier to pop up a paddle
mm,
court anywhere. I was actually in Egypt recently on a
yeah.
family trip, and I could not find a pickleball court anywhere, but I did see padel and paddle courts around.
Mm,
So, yeah, and I
yeah.
didn't meet one person in Egypt who knew what pickleball was.
Really,
Yeah,
that's quite interesting. I think the paddle court growth, they're getting lots of their funding from the tennis federations, as you
Yeah.
say, and they are the tennis player crossover. You're one of the few people I've heard that's a tennis player that's gone for both paddle and pickleball.
Right.
They tend to go to one or the other, and
Right.
then have some form of conflict.
Right.
So how do you see paddle and pickleball growing in the future in comparison to tennis then?
So I keep hearing, does one take away from another? Right.
Yeah,
And I do think it's not like a net sum game. It's, they all help each other grow. And there's going to be pickleball is not going to replace tennis. Tennis is not going to replace paddle and so forth. It'll be a mix. I think like clubs are really moving toward having some pickleball courts, some paddle courts, some tennis. You kind of pick and choose what do you feel like playing that day, and you can do it, right? So I don't think they're going to like one is going to replace the other. I do think pickleball will end up being the largest overall in the long run just because it's so accessible, right? And it can really hit the mass market the best. But I think for like your higher end competitive players, they're still going to gravitate to paddle and tennis.
well, the pickleball players, as you say, that demographic from 8 years old to 80 years old, right? There's anybody can play it, whereas tennis is much more suited for it's the middle age bracket, right? The young to the middle, whereas paddle's kind of the younger at the moment. It's the 30-year-old players,
Right.
roughly. I mean, I play paddle as well. It's good fun, but the community aspect of pickleball, it's something different, right?
Something different. It's funny. Like the demographic used to be older for pickleball, and now I think it's like 25 to 34 is the fastest growing age range.
Yeah.
Wild that it's gone from like the oldest to the youngest.
Yeah, in the UK, I think we're still in that older age range. I think it's coming down slowly, but we're still about the 60-year-old mark. But there's still people coming through now. Are you seeing it getting into schools in Canada at all? Do you know?
I know Arizona has introduced it in high school.
Oh yeah,
I think they opened it. Yeah, they have their first public high school official pickleball team, right?
that's really good. Yeah,
Yeah, which is cool. And then we have the Olympics, right? Are we going to get it to the Olympics? I think pickleball
it's a big
and
question at the moment.
paddle are like both really wanting to get in the Olympics. I
Yeah,
hope so. LA has the next summer Olympics, and it would be pretty awesome for that to be the time that Olympics introduce pickleball since it started in the States, right?
yeah.
I hope that's the plan.
Yeah, it would be great. I think that's possibly where the recognition needs to go. There's obviously lots of talk about do people take the sport seriously and see it as a sport rather than just a game. And it's difficult, especially given the name, right? It's a
Yeah,
difficult thing, but it adds a bit of humor to it. It means that people don't show up to the court dressed in full white
right,
and expecting it to be serious. They
right.
relax a little bit and they
I think you're right.
yeah
It's a, I, it's good and bad. I've heard you're right. So it kind of makes it more social and fun and goofy. I've heard some of the challenges in Europe is that they don't take it seriously, partially because the name is silly.
yeah
And so it's kind of helps and hurts at the same time.
yeah. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword a bit, isn't it?
Hmm.
So, are you seeing dedicated venues pop up in Canada at the moment, or are you not quite getting to that stage yet?
We have a new premium club here called the Forge. Again, we just have I think less than a year ago, they opened the first indoor paddle club,
Yeah,
and they're both purely dedicated to that one sport. Um, and it's, I love it because that's where I started playing paddle is at this new court, and they got it just right. It's called Paddle and Friends, so it's very fun and social, and they kind of leaned into that social side of things, and they do like the glow in the dark, Saturday night
oh yeah,
paddle thing, and which I think is really fun. So yeah, the problem in Canada is in the winters when all the public courts are, obviously not functional. There's way too much demand for indoor courts than are available.
Mm.
So yeah, we have a couple indoor like community centers, but they're just packed. You can't get a court in the winter. So it's either that or you pay the high monthly fee for the premium courts, and they're not even in a convenient location for a lot of people. So that is
Yeah.
holding back the sport a little bit. I think it's going to change very quickly though in the next couple of years where we have one premium court today. I think if you come back a year or two from now, we'll have five, right?
Yeah.
And the challenge is not overdoing it or underdoing it. So there's obviously a demand for more, but what's the right amount? I'm a little afraid that some of the clubs that are a little late to the game are going to come in at a moment when the demand has plateaued, and it's going to be hard to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course, as we were saying earlier, the being able to just take a leap of faith into something that you don't know what's going on, especially financially when you're setting up anything, right? Whether it's an app, whether it's a venue.
Right.
So if they all jump in at the same time at the last moment, then it's going to be difficult for them to get any return on their investment.
Exactly. And there's a lot of upfront costs to having a facility, even more so than software.
Yeah.
So it's a gamble, but if you get in at the right time, it's going to pay off. There's no doubt. Even
Definitely.
the Club to Forge, it's always hard in the very beginning as you're getting the word out, but now they're wildly successful. So
I think a lot of them as well, they're putting the paddle courts in to make the money, and then the pickleball courts are going in just to fill up space kind of thing.
right.
What do you think of that as a concept then? Do you think that's kind of thinking of pickleball as, oh, we'll just chuck it there, or?
I think it needs to be multi-racket. I think clubs need to be multi-racket for sure. I love, like the U.S. is doing a great job of building these extraordinary facilities that are, I think they're still mostly pickleball focused, but I think that's changing. But they really focus on the experience around the game, right? So there's lounges to hang out in, there's music, there's a lot of restaurants are now connected to the club.
Yeah.
So you're eating, you're drinking, you're hanging out. The other really exciting technology part of pickleball in the U.S. right now is pod play. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's allowing like instant replay on courts, and you can see your score on a screen, right? So it's kind of hard to track scores. So now it's all digital. And then if you have a conflict about whether a ball was in or out, they have like instant replay, and you can see if it's in or out, which is just so cool. And it's not mainstream, but it's going to become mainstream very quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's an incredible, almost gamification of the sport, right? It's making it fun to play, making it good for spectators as well, because that's something that's definitely lacking is the spectatorship at the moment, because that's what brings in the money, right? And that's why some places are lacking a bit of money.
Right. And it's the right, for me, it's the right combination of like physical courts and technology. Because I don't want to sound anti-technology, because I do believe in technology, but it has to be balanced with that in-person experience. And I think it is a nice balance between the two.
Yeah. So obviously you've seen the podcast before, so we've got the Pickle Pals section. So that's 60 seconds of quickfire questions. I always get that the wrong way around. So I'm going to pull up the list. So we do this section because the podcast is sponsored by Pickle Pals, and I think it's a great different aspect, right? It's trying to bring the whole sport into the 21st century, because I don't know what it's like for you, but for us in the UK, it's like pen and paper, it's cash, it's spreadsheets, and I'm on about 20 different WhatsApp groups. It's not great for the look of the sport.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So quick fire questions. Are you ready?
I guess.
Your time starts now. what's one word to describe pickleball right now?
Fun.
What's one problem that Hitch solves?
Connection. Is it connecting people?
Do you prefer social play or competitive play?
Social.
Do you prefer singles or doubles?
Doubles.
What's the most underrated feature of Hitch?
Nomads.
What's your favorite paddle brand?
Jula, probably.
Do you play in the morning or in the evening?
Evening. I'm not a morning.
Not a morning person. Do you listen to any music before or after you play?
No.
No? What's your favorite ball that you play with?
Franklin.
And what pickleball shoes do you wear?
I wear my tennis shoes that I...
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's your time up. We've got some good answers in there. One of the ones that was on the list that I was going to ask you, but I thought probably wouldn't have enough time for it, is where do you see the sport in 5 years?
I think it's multi-racket.
Yeah.
A couple times. It's a blend of pickleball, padel, tennis, and whatever else comes. There'll probably be a new flavor that comes out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be one or the other. And then that's Hitch's philosophy too. Like, we're bringing the racket community together. We don't, put our nose up to anybody. We include everybody, and it's fun, but it can also be competitive. And I was in that world for a while where I was competitive. So I that's important as well.
Yeah. So if you were to go on Hitch today, would you find pickleball partners, paddle partners, and tennis partners separately, or how does it all work?
Good question. A lot of people now do play multiple sports.
Yeah.
So there tends to be one that they prefer out of the three or four. So you kind of have to figure that part out when you talk to them. Is it like, do you just play paddle here and there, or are you really into that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast. It's great to get to know what you're doing and what you're bringing to the sport. Hitch sounds like it's an incredible development for the sport and definitely much needed. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, it was a pleasure. Thanks, Evan.
No? Lovely to speak to you. We'll catch you in the next episode. Thank
All right.
you very much.
Take care.
Thanks for watching this episode of Pickleball Legends. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, follow and subscribe, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you get your fix. We've got new episodes coming out every 2 weeks, so make sure you're following so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep dinking, keep smiling and stay legendary.